What is Maharlika Investment Fund Bill? The Maharlika Investment Fund, or MIF, also known as the Maharlika Wealth Fund, or MWF, is a proposed sovereign wealth fund for the Philippines. House Bill 6398 creates the Maharlika Investment Fund, or MIF, whose mission is to generate consistent and stable investment returns with appropriate risk limits in order to preserve and enhance the fund's long-term value, obtain the best absolute return and achievable financial gains on its investment, and satisfy the requirements of liquidity, safety, security, and yield in order to ensure profitability. In late November 2022, 7 members of the Philippine House of Representatives, including Martin Romualdez and Sandro Marcos, introduced the House Bill 6398, proposing the establishment of the Maharlika Wealth Fund, or MWF, for the Philippines, modeled after South Korea's own sovereign wealth fund. If established, the fund would be managed by the Maharlika Investments Corporation, or MIC. President Bongbong Marcos has supported the establishment of the Sovereign Wealth Fund in 2022, believing that it will benefit the country. Initially, the proposed bill establishing the fund required the Government Services Insurance System, or GSIS, and the Social Security System, or SSS, to contribute funds to the MIF. Later, the two institutions were dropped as required contributors. However, both the boards of the GSIS and SSS would be permitted to contribute if they approved such a move. The MIF proposal has targeted an approval by the House of Representatives by December 12, 2022, after President Marcos certified the bill as urgent. It was passed on its third reading in the lower house, with 279 lawmakers voting in favor of passing the bill. Only 6 lawmakers voted against, which is Gabriel Bordado of Camarines Sur 3rd District, Arlene Brosas of Gabriela Party List, Franz Castro of ACT Teachers Party List, Mujib Hataman of Basilan, Edsel Lagman of Albay 1st District, and Raul Manuel of Kabataan Party List. Where will the government source fund? The proposed Maharlika Fund will get seed capital from government, banks, and the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP. According to the bill, the purpose of the fund will be to promote economic development by making strategic and profitable investments in key sectors. Who will oversee the fund? A Maharlika Investment Fund Joint Congressional Oversight Committee will also be created to oversee, monitor, and evaluate the implementation of the proposed measures. Do experts approve of the proposal? Experts argue that using the BSP, or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas dividends for the Maharlika Fund may introduce politics into the central bank's work. But Finance Secretary Benjamin Diokno insists the BSP will remain independent. Academics and ex-cabinet members are worried that the proposed Maharlika Fund could impact the Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas, or BSP, independence. Under the revised Maharlika proposal, the BSP will contribute all of its annual dividends to the Maharlika Investment Fund's MIF capital during the fund's first 2 years. The BSP will then lessen its remittance to 50% of its annual dividends, while the central bank builds up its own capital. After this, it will continue remitting 100% of its dividends to the Maharlika Fund. However, experts worried that this arrangement may interfere with the BSP's independence and make it more difficult for the central bank to do its job. Does the Maharlika Wealth Fund address the needs of the poor? The Maharlika Investment Corporation is mandated to remit 25% of its net profits to the national government for it to be directly distributed in the form of poverty and subsidies to families falling below the poverty threshold as determined by the Philippine Statistics. So in my own opinion, Maharlika Wealth Fund does address the needs of the poor. What are the questionable part of this House bill that may lead to problems? So, is the fund bill truly beneficial to alleviating poverty? And what would happen if the fund bill failed? The BSP or Bangko Sentral ng Pilipinas lost all of its remittances, causing the BSP to run into even more trouble. After your research about this, you as a student, are you in favor or not to this House bill? Discuss your answer. So as a student, I support this fund bill because if it succeeds, it will reduce poverty in our nation and will also be a great help to our nation once it succeeds. As a student, I may not be able to predict what would happen if this fails or succeeds, but I can be sure that the people behind this fund bill are knowledgeable, and I know for sure that they are determined to make it work.